Hello, my lovely loyal listeners or watchers. This is the video and the wisdom, if you like, for the new moon in Aquarius on the 1st of February. So apart from the obvious change of sun sign from Sun into Capricorn into Aquarius, we've had Mercury go retrograde in mid-January. The nodal axis has shifted. What does that mean, Evelyn? And Jupiter has moved into Pisces. We had a volcano under the sea near Tonga recently, and there's much disruption everywhere. The borders here in Queensland are finally open again. Wow, does this mean new freedoms? The financial markets are rattling. What is going on? So let me first speak about the new moon in Aquarius. The energy shift from Capricorn Aquarius to Aquarius may mean that life feels a little easier for you. Aquarius is a much lighter energy, at least for the next month. Our new moon in Aquarius is on Tuesday the 1st at about 10 to 4 in the afternoon, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't already done so, let's find it within us to adopt attitudes that are humanitarian. It's hard sometimes in the current health climate to think kindly about those who have a different view to us. But we need to remember that people make the decisions on the best information they have available at the time. Be kind. Love each person for the humanity within them. And understand that folk are scared. Love and compassion, please. Aquarian energy is great for creating inventive solutions to some of those dilemmas facing us. Let not the health dilemma overshadow the important adjustment globally that is occurring in our financial system. From the major conjunction of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter in January 2020, we have been on track for a major financial reset. But I believe there's been a massive distraction. Combine this with the Pluto return for the United States, which occurs in a week or so's time, and that requires them to review their values. This world is in a challenging place with financial resources. I have found Warren Black, and I'll give you the reference below, Global Wealth Org, some really practical suggestions for securing your assets and protecting your finances. Now, while he is specific for Australia, he's stuck in Western Australia, the principles he uses can be applied to most markets and countries. I encourage you to stay calm and take well-considered decisions in relation to your finances. Remember, the storm never lasts. Although sometimes it feels like it'll never end. Trust that the universe or your spiritual connection supports you. Aquarian energy is much lighter and concerned about community and sharing what we have. Governed by Uranus, this energy can be quite electric and bring us inspiration from far out somewhere in the universe. Remember that our Earth is flying through space as it's not been before in our lifetimes. And it makes sense that we can pick up different energies and bugs. We can also be inspired by new ideas about how we can live better and contribute more and differently to our communities. What new ideas do you want to embrace for your life going forward? What can you do or what are you doing to contribute to your community? Now, I've spoken about this before, but there is much talk about the Age of Aquarius. And what the hell does that mean? It actually refers to the precession of equinoxes, where a greater zodiacal wheel is shifting from Pisces to Aquarius. Yes, it goes backwards. And we have been under the influence of Pisces for just over 2,000 years. And in this time, we've been encouraged to seek outside of ourselves for our power and our authority. But you know, in Aquarian energy, we are being encouraged to seek inside ourselves for that power. When we stand in our own power and work to be the best versions of ourselves, then we really contribute to our community. This means taking responsibility for our own decisions at all levels, our finances, our health, our education, our spiritual connections. We've never really needed to have another human being between us and our spiritual connection. But in the Pisces age, we were all programmed that this is what we needed. So now, right now, what is your spiritual connection? Spiritual does not necessarily mean religious. And, simultaneously we are, at least from the end of 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended, we're moving from a 26,000-year male-dominated cycle into a female-dominated cycle for the next 26,000 years. No wonder we all feel confused and discombobulated. I believe the answers for you are in you. So we've got a big wheel, 26,000 wheel. We've got a 2,000 year cycle. And then we've got this little monthly cycle in between, in the middle. So we're changing all sorts of things. Let me speak a bit about Mercury Retrograde. And you may well have experienced some Mercury Retrograde events. Since mid-January, Mercury, this planet of communications, has been retrograde in Aquarius, and then it's popped back into Capricorn. It goes direct again on the 4th of February. But in the meantime, have you had problems with communication? Text messages that haven't got there, or phone calls that haven't worked, or transport? Mercury has the reputation of disrupting communication and travel. A couple of weeks ago, I booked my daughter on a Sydney-Melbourne flight. She'd just flown in from Canada. But just hours before the flight was scheduled, it was cancelled by Jetstar. So I booked on Virgin. But 2 hours before that was scheduled, it was delayed. Oh my God. In those situations, the best is just go with the flow. Know that Mercury is retrograde. Know that you will eventually reach your destination and reach your objective. And she did. So what disruptions have you noticed in your transport or communications since the 19th of January? Mercury goes direct again on the 4th of February, but not before connecting again with Pluto in Capricorn and potentially digging up some very dirty news. Now, we're also just moved into what's called a nodal axis shift. And by way of explanation, the moon's north and south nodes are not planets, but points at which the moon's monthly path crosses the sun's annual path, the ecliptic, around the Earth. They're abstract points, but have considerable subtle power. We tend to view the south node as representing one's karma, what you've come into this world with, what you've inherited spiritually, genetically, and emotionally. And the north node is considered one's dharma, or what one can reach for, what you can strive to achieve in this lifetime. But every 18 months, this nodal axis shifts. So 2 weeks ago, it shifted from a Gemini-Sagittarius axis to the Taurus-Scorpio axis. And so very subtly, the energy around us shifts. And because the south node is now Scorpio, and because it's connecting favorably with Pluto in the next few weeks, we can expect revelations relating to dark hidden secrets, perhaps relating to the famous, the common people, the rich and famous. I expect there will be information released that may be shocking, but it does allow people to adjust their perceptions and therefore their activities. Last month, I mentioned Jupiter in Pisces, And Jupiter has moved into Pisces for a short journey, but it is giving us the opportunity to dream big. So I encourage you in the next month, as you finalize your plans for the coming year, 2022, to dream big goals and objectives. Don't think about how you might get there. That's the job of your angels and the universe. Just set the intention for what you would like to achieve or attain. The time for finalizing our goals for this year and time for action starts in mid-March with the equinox. So that's a few weeks away still. Now, have any of you been sick with this amazing sea thing that's rushing around? I know lots of people have been sick. I was sick too last week. And it was really disappointing. That was the worst day for me was I had to cancel 3 yoga classes on the one day, but I simply could not move. Did I have a touch of Omicron? Maybe. No, I did not run off and have a test. How would that serve me? To wait in a queue for an hour and a half for a PCR test? How would that serve me or my community? Rat tests are hard to get. I just made myself some of my brew and over 2 days sipped that frequently and slept. My body needed sleep, not much food, but I forced myself to eat small amounts of something nutritious. You know food is medicine, don't you? Oh my God, Omicron. Well, I believe my immunity is now enhanced. How do you manage your body when it's unwell? Now, what can we do to change our situation? The general feel of the community or the environment in which we're living. How are we able to change, adjust, accommodate to the challenging times in which we're living? Can we actually make a difference? Australia is purportedly a democracy, but with the mandates under which we are all living in this country, we are much more a totalitarian regime. Is that how you want to live? Really? I believe that our national apathy has enabled controlling energies to infiltrate our society. Call them whatever you like. We were comfortable. There was food on the table. We had lovely homes. And we were mostly without too many challenges in life. Then comes along a global health pandemic. And the people comply with directives that reduce and compromise individual freedoms. Whoops! How did that happen? Do we want them back? I do. How do we get them back? What future do we really want for ourselves? Do we want to continue like this? No, this is a global issue, but here in Australia, we have access to the ballot box and have the power to influence the political process. But we have to do something. We have to take action. There is a federal election pending, and we can make our voices heard by becoming involved in the political process at our local levels. It just doesn't mean going to cast your vote. To date, our government has been dominated by 2 major political parties with slightly different agenda. But you know what? If we elect enough candidates from minority parties, it will force the governing process to change, as there will be no clear majority for any one party or coalition. Now, Clive Palmer is funding and supporting candidates for most electorates. Clive Palmer is a wealthy individual. He doesn't need to be paid off. These candidates he is supporting are from a variety of independent platforms, but they're all advocating for freedom of the people and are still focused on putting people first and not their own well-being. Is there a local candidate for you whose policies appeal? Can you support this candidate in any way? This might mean advocating for them, or campaigning for them, or helping at election time. Now, Clive Palmer may not appeal to you for a variety of reasons, and I get it. But I encourage you to look past the man and consider what he's trying to achieve. Whatever your political affiliations, become involved in the process and be responsible for taking action in your community. If we work together, don't you think we can adjust the direction for the people of our country? Now, are you Aussie? On Australia Day, I supported Louise to become an Australian at the local community hall. It was a brief ceremony which embraced about 50 people from all over the world becoming Australian. They had to pledge an oath and we sang the national anthem, and it was all good fun. The local Lions Club offered refreshments at the end and gave each candidate a little banksia to plant as a commemorative gift. We went back to Louise's home where we had lamb on the spit, beautiful baked potatoes and salads, followed by lamingtons and pavlova for dessert. Lots of drinks and good cheer on a rainy, cool evening. I feel very privileged to have been invited to support her, as each candidate could only bring 2 people. And so there was me and her eldest son. Remember that our country is populated by people who have come here from elsewhere. Over 60% of Australians were either born overseas or have parents who were born overseas. This country has afforded opportunity to many, many folk over its history. And these folk have together built this country we have come to love and enjoy. So please review your place in this wide brown land and step up to maintain our freedoms and become better versions of ourselves and continue to support the growth of our country at whatever level you can. Do you value your inheritance? As we sang our national anthem, I am reminded that we are not currently, as the anthem suggests, we are not free. This country is not attractive as it once was. Please get involved in the political process, folks. Now, final few thoughts. I am very grateful for the classes I'm able to teach on the beach, the yoga classes. That's when it doesn't rain. I teach also at the community centres and at the detox clinic. My students continue to value the power of breathing techniques to keep calm and allay anxiety in these challenging times. I do have a little YouTube about breathing. At this new moon is traditionally also Chinese New Moon, or Chinese New Year, sorry. And this year it is the year of the water tiger in the Chinese horoscope. For the first time in many years, I'm going out for Chinese New Year dinner. Woohoo! My children will be in town and I'm celebrating certainly with my daughter. According to Mr. Google, 2022 is the Yang water tiger year. And Yang water is connected to flowing water, river or cloud. Tiger is a symbol of power, prestigiousness, and loneliness. Tiger cannot get along with many animals. I'll put a reference down below for you to follow that and have a look for yourselves. So to finish off, have a wonderful community-minded month in February. Find ways to get involved in your community and finalize your plans by dreaming big while Jupiter is still in Pisces. That's all for now, folks.